Have you been procrastinating from writing that book that's inside of you? Do you have a story or message that will be beneficial to others? Do you struggle with the writing process and nuances of publishing your book and knowing how to market and profit from it? Well, it's time that you stop with the struggle. I'm here to help you write your book. In my new book, Purpose, Publish, Profit, I teach you how to easily write, self-publish, and market your book to build your six-figure business in 60 days or less. This book is free. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling. When you pre-order your book, you will also get access to a free virtual masterclass where I go deeper into training and ways to make more money with your book. Visit liveyourdreamsoutloud.com/book.
On this episode of the Dreamer Series, I sit down with the president and CEO of Brand Equity Showroom, Mr. Brian Stark. Brian's extensive experience in the contemporary fashion industry has made Brand Equity Showroom one of the leading brand building agencies in the U.S. Coming from a retail background, Brian has been able to bring his experience and knowledge of what buyers need to the wholesale side of the business. Identifying trends and knowing what's hot is another one of Brian's strengths. He has been able to spot the next trends and quickly relay this to his extensive list of valued clients. This has led to the success of many of Brian's brands today. Listen, to all of my fashion heads, this is a roll call for you. Get your pen and your pad out. You're not going to want to miss this episode. It's all here. Next up on the Dreamer Series.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all back to another episode of the Dreamer Series. I'm fortunate to be in the Brand Equity Showroom with my man, Brian Stark. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Tell the people a little bit about you and who you are.
Well, my name is Brian Stark, which we know that now, and I own Brand Equity Showroom, which is a fashion agency, which a lot of people still don't quite get. They're like, are you a designer? Are you a merchandiser? What do you do? We represent clothing brands, up and coming, mostly kind of edgy streetwear contemporary brands. Similar to owning an agency for models or actors, I always say, we represent fashion designers. So I basically get a lot of submissions similar to like models or actors of new talent. I see them throughout periods of the year, and if it's something I think is great and has potential, I'll sign them. Then the process of working with the designers and building the brand and making it fit right for what's in the market and all. And my client base that I sell brands back to that count on me to find the new brands is Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue and Bloomingdale's and hundreds and hundreds of other specialty stores nationwide. So we're basically kind of like brand builders in a sense. Not kind of, we're brand builders.
So take me back a little bit further. So before all of this Brand Equity Showroom, you were working at Nordstrom's, but was fashion or has fashion always been your dream, so to speak?
I mean, it definitely was not my dream, believe it or not. I don't know if I really knew. I actually wanted to be a plastic surgeon, to be really honest.
Wow. What was the inspiration behind that?
I've always been fascinated with the fact that someone can kind of just go in and quickly change themselves. It doesn't sound like the healthiest or most normal thing to why you want to be a plastic surgeon, but I went to school to start it off to do a little bit of pre-med stuff, which it was very, very beginning, and it was mostly just a lot of biology and all that, and I thought this is not for me. And I had started working for Nordstrom when I just turned 17. So I've really been in this industry my entire working life. Yeah. Therefore, I haven't really known anything else, to be honest. And I learned so much at Nordstrom, and I got us exposed. It's such a great company, and I can say that even not working there anymore. It's the epitome of just customer service, as everybody knows. And it just taught me so much. And I was exposed to so much that I really never left it. And what I like about what I do now is that there's nothing monotonous about it. If I want to change, what's in the market, if I want to change the brands I have, I can do it quickly. It's not something that I'm not going in and clocking in 9 to 5 doing the same monotonous thing. And I really am able to make a difference, whether it's a new designer's dream to become a brand or a difference in the market. If I really believe that a ripped knee jogger, again, is what has to happen, you're going to see it in the store in a few months. So it's a rewarding job, and I still, after all these years, I still love going to work the next day, which is, for me, pretty crazy because I don't like real monotonous stuff.
What was the important thing, looking back at it now? I know you said customer service really stands out, but what was one important thing or a few important things this is kind of that teachable moment thing. Where I want anybody that's in fashion, or maybe they're working in Nordstrom's or Macy's or something, and they want to do something very similar to what you're doing. But what was the one thing or a few things while you were working at Nordstrom's that stands out that you learned that's carried on over to today?
Do things right and not go from A to D without learning B and C. You know, it's like, if that makes sense. Really taking the steps. And the more you learn every facet of any job, you will be better when you hit to that. You know, if you're a super forward, edgy, looking for the next, that's what you come to brand equity for. Now that I'm out of that and I have the world to pull any brands from. I can get any brand from any country, anywhere. And that's fun, but it's also sticking true to my roots. And this is what I'm about, not trying to be everything to everybody. I mean, we could represent all kinds of different brands, but I really like to stay focused on what I like and what I think we're good at and what I think is needed in the market.
8 years into the space, was there a moment where your Truman Show boat hit the glass ceiling? What made you leave?
What made me leave Nordstrom, actually, to be honest, was I put myself up for, when there's positions open, and there was a store manager position open that I put my name in for, that I thought, there is no way I'm not going to be hired for this. And I wasn't, and I was kind of, my ego was kind of chipped away, and it just made me upset, and I thought, I'm out of here. Which, in some regards, I'm somewhat blessed for, because I would have never been where I am now, I don't think. You know, things happen for a reason, and I didn't get that job, and within a week later, I put my notice in. My parents were pretty upset about it, because I think at that point, my parents were like, God, our kid is really on a great path, you know? As I think parents probably would, but I really rolled the dice, which I am a dice roller. And I think that is what really, not that I would tell everybody to throw everything on the table and gamble. For me, it works. And I have definitely burned and made some mistakes, but they have not been nearly as many of the successes that I've gained by taking chances. I'm a huge chance taker.
So when it comes to, you know, putting this thing together, did you have any mentors?
I didn't have anybody help me. I didn't have any mentors, and I didn't know anybody that owned a showroom. So I really just kind of faked it till I made it.
Wow. In what aspect?
In the sense of, I mean, I opened my first, it was a very little 500 square foot showroom. When I left Nordstrom, I can't say that there weren't a lot of brands that approached me. I definitely had a few brands that said, I mean, Nordstrom gave me a lot of, gave me a lot of credibility in the sense of brands immediately came to me and be like, hey, listen, can we hire you? We know you came from Nordstrom. Can you get us into the stores there? So I had a little bit of that. And one of the brands that approached me was my first brand that I carried in the showroom. And I happened to do millions of dollars worth of business with Nordstrom from this first brand. So right out the gates, that Nordstrom connection helped me grow. So even though I left them, they kind of were my lifeline that really threw me into there. So maybe they're my mentor. But with that brand, I did a lot of volume with Nordstrom, and it allowed me to grow. And then I got rid of the brand, and it also, I learned a lot. It's certainly a brand that I would never do now. I'm much pickier, and I think just kind of going through the motions and paying attention. I'm a very observant person. I'm very intuitive. I'm a quick learner just by watching. So I think, you know, just working a lot and paying attention to what's around and what you're inspired by, and being cautious when you first start something. You know, even though I say I'm a big dice roller, I am now, but this is also excess of 20 years later. I wasn't rolling dice when I first opened the showroom, you know. I was being cautious and being smart, you know, because I cashed out everything I'd worked hard for Nordstrom, so I certainly didn't want to blow it all at the roulette table.
So I'm curious to know, where was the fashion industry back at the time when you got started?
The fashion industry when I left Nordstrom was much more conservative, and it also was throw anything on the floor and it will sell. The market was crazy. I mean, every retail was thriving back then. I mean, people were making a lot of money.
This is pre-internet day?
This is pre-internet.
So 95, 96-ish?
Yes, This is back in the days when True Religion just started. This is back in the days when, and a good friend of mine sold True Religion for many years and made millions of dollars from it. It was back in the day when pretty much just people loved to shop, but in store. Flash forward to now, it could not be more different. So that's the main difference. And there was a lot more variety of what was in the market. You know, it's much more focused now. It's much, if this category works, we're going to focus just on this. We're not going to throw, a lot of stores used to have a lot more brands in their store. Now it's, you know, cut down to 1/10 and then they'll focus on that. So that's the main difference from now.
The great thing that I love is that you have the experience pre-internet and now with the internet being at its
Yes.
height. So with the showroom and the internet, what is the major difference that you see in terms of
My business?
change? Yeah, for your business.
How has business changed for me? Because business is great for us. That's the strange thing. And it's a good question that you say that, because a lot of people are like, God, you must be hurting. No, we're doing great. Things are great. It's just a different way to do business. Box services, subscription services, like companies like Stitch Fix or whatnot, which everybody's probably seen the commercials. A lot of that's a massive part of the industry now. And it's very similar to a Nordstrom, say. They're just buying thousands of units of something versus Nordstrom buying 1,000 units or 800. So a lot of that, and those are still clients of ours. So even though maybe a lot of the boutiques have diminished a little bit, and everybody sees retail stores closing. I mean, Macy's, hundreds of stores closing, Sears, whatnot, a plethora of them. Yeah. I mean, I was back in the day when Robinson's Mayo was open, or Bullock's and all those. They're all gone. Right. But all that business has picked up elsewhere. So it's not like people are buying less clothing. They're still buying it. They're doing it through different people in different ways.
Is it important for you to have a presence online?
I mean, personally, all my brands we do sell online within, you know, but generally I allow Nordstrom.com or Bloomingdale's.com or SaksFifthAvenue.com or whatnot. I allow them to sell the brands online because it's, you know, for us to do our own e-commerce, we're really cutting them out of the equation, and I really want to support the growth through them.
Talking about, I want to go back because I think a lot of times people, we're in this beautiful showroom and they see you, wonderful person, but they don't know enough about the challenges that maybe you faced. You know, some of the ups and downs that you faced once you got started. Talk about some of the challenges once you launched Brand Equity that you faced and just getting started.
There's definitely been challenges. As far as just the market changing, there's a lot of showrooms that have gone out of business over the years. It's become really like a monopoly now. It doesn't mean you can't get into this industry now, but it's much tougher to just open a showroom and you know, it's a lot of these buyers really want somebody that's seasoned and understands the market. You know, nobody wants to roll the dice with buying stuff now. They want to know that it's pretty much a guaranteed sell. So I've gone through a lot of the challenges with the market changing. You know, you're only as good as your last season, we always say to the designers. So if I sell X amount of volume with one brand and the next collection's terrible, I'm screwed. So I've gone through a lot of that. I've represented a lot of brands over the years, and the bigger the brand gets, you count on that next collection really being great, and so do the stores. So it's like, you know, you get a collection and it sucks, and you've got $30 million that you're supposed to, you know, expectations. What do? You're screwed. So there's those challenges, and that's why I'm a little bit more invested in making sure that I see the collections before they come out, and that's only through lessons learned, to make sure, hey, listen, you know what, this doesn't look that great. We have 3 weeks to fix it. Let's add this, 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 and this. I never used to have to do that before, so now there's a lot more caution and a lot more like double checking before something comes out. So I don't have those challenges anymore, and it's just learning from mistakes and never repeating them again.
I'm interested in getting my clothing line or whatever it is, my product, my line, my brand.
You starting up a brand?
I'm thinking about it.
All right, I felt this.
We got the Dreamer interview series. We need some Dreamer merch.
We need some Dreamer duds.
We need some Dreamer merch.
All right, makes sense.
I'm a camo guy. I'm a little fat.
Camo is every season, all season, 12 months out of the year.
Is it?
There's different takes on it now, but it's like one thing that people are like, oh, camo's over. Camo ain't going anywhere. It may not be green camo, it might be blue camo, it might be white camo, it might be micro camo, but it is here to stay.
You know what? I think that may be a thing. I'm not going to say it. Maybe a surprise for you all. But can you help me with that?
I can help you with a little bit.
Okay.
Dreamo Camo Collection.
So if I'm looking to get started, what would be your advice to anybody that's watching? If I got a product or line I want to get?
If you have a product or line, I prefer emails. I generally don't like someone rolling in a rolling rack or something too. It does happen. You got to remember there's FITM, which is across the street, and also our showroom in New York, there's another fashion institute. So we get a lot of walk-ins, which it's not the way to do it. I just want a submission through email. I'll look at the line sheets quickly if it's something that looks right or not. 98% of the time it's no, not to be negative, but I want people to do their homework. Like if you're gonna submit to be at Brand Equity, go on our website, see what we represent, and if it's something that you think fits in or is not something we were already doing, then it's smart to do that. There's a lot of people that reach out to submissions and it's, a woman's wedding dress line. It's like, have you gone online? Like we don't do that. So being smart about who you're submitting to, making sure it's not something that they're already doing, and following up with an email and offering to come in and show them in person or send samples.
You said 98%. What gets the 2%?
2% is, you got to remember, my brands and my agency is known for what's next. I'm not looking to put stuff in the store that's already happening. So a lot of designers design what's right for them, which is mistake number one. You got to take that and turn it into a business. And and even though I love a lot of what I do, I don't do it because I'm going to wear it. I do it because I know that there's a void and there's a need for it. So designing for what you think the market needs, not what you like or what you want.
Got it. This is a personal question. For those of you that don't know this, I'm a huge Kanye West fan, and he has on the Yeezys, which brought me to this particular point. But, I see what Kanye's done for Adidas. I see his love and his passion for fashion. What are your takes on Kanye West at all? Do you have any?
I think his shoes are amazing. I think the rest of the collection's not good.
Why? Why do you say that?
I think, the market has shown that it's not. It didn't retail well. I love parts of what he's done. I think it's a mere case of what I said, someone designing for them. And a lot of what he designed apparel-wise is not what is very relatable to the American customer. American customer is pretty conservative. And as much as you want to push the envelope, stuff has to, for the stores that are forward and great, brands like Givenchy are amazing, great, forward, and still wearable and great. A lot of that stuff that he did with all the rips and the holes, it just wasn't flattering. It didn't look good on a woman, it didn't look good on a guy. It's not trying to be something so artsy and so out there that it's not wearable is a big mistake that a lot of artists like himself do. I've worked with a lot of celebrity brands over the years. It's not my favorite to do because a lot of the premium buyers from Nordstrom, Neiman Sachs, they don't really take these designers serious because generally that's not what they started out doing. They're doing it because they're capitalizing off of their empire. There's very few that are really talented, great. I'm not dissing Kanye for that because I do think he changed the shoe game. There is no argument about him changing the shoe game. He did not change the apparel game.
Got it. Speaking of apparel, it seems like the youth culture these days, specifically the millennials, are more expressive. And it seems like you have a lot of people, and I don't know if this is just artists like musicians and things, but they have a lot of merch. They're creating their own merch. Chance the Rapper has the 3 hat.
100%.
It seems like people are just being more expressive. You see more slogans, personal slogans and quotes and things on shirts. What does that mean to you?
I think the millennials are very expressive. I think with Instagram and Facebook, I think a lot of that has aided in people wanting to just be their own celebrity, be their own voice, being able to just be their own and show their own identity. And I think social media is a big reason for that. And I just think this millennial, they want to stand out. They want to express themselves. And they want to do it without, I think social media allows people to do that without an opinion behind it. Whether someone comments about it, you put it out there and that's it. You didn't have to ask approval to do it. You can just be this design or whatever this is you want to be without any say. And I love that the millennials are like that because those are my customers and I want to grow old with them. So I love any person or customer that wants to embrace standing out and being different and being creative and making their own stuff and doing all that. That's my world. Those are my peeps.
So NXP, let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
Which I love, and I'm a huge fan of camo. I mean, there's some great stuff over here. This really looks like me.
When I first saw you and you walked in, I was like, I'm feeling like part of your closet.
Okay, this is me. Joggers, Adidas,
Well, you
shirt.
did, like, ideally, you're my customer.
Okay.
Like, this is it. Okay. For those out there, this is the look. This is what's up. Street, period. This is street. We're not talking like urban. You don't use that. It's just street. That's our look.
I think people misuse the term urban.
There is an urban, but urban is more like the Champion and all that, which is hot and coming back and all that too. But true streetwear, contemporary streetwear is more this world. Urban is a lot of the kickback from the Echoes or the old Adidas and all that. Not even the new, but just kind of rehashing all that stuff from the past. But the fits are different too. This is way more contemporary and way more true street is more fitted, basically.
So why NXP?
NXP is a new brand. This was a new brand that came to me it's been about a year and a half now. It's from Australia, one of my favorite countries for brands because they're very forward.
Wow.
One of the most forward countries for fashion in the world, my opinion.
In what aspect?
They think ahead. Their fits are ahead, their styling is ahead. A lot of big successful brands in America are from Australia, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that. This being one. This has been in the market now. I launched this. Nordstrom was my first department store I went into. It is absolutely killing it in the stores. So I would say probably we've already grown, a good 80 or 90% in the past few months. That's how crazy this one.
Wow.
This will be a household name brand.
Wow.
Without a doubt.
So is this, when you say, speaking of going into Nordstrom, is this Nordstrom stores worldwide, or is this from a
Nordstrom is only in the US and Canada.
Okay.
Obviously Nordstrom.com is globally, but Nordstrom has 7 stores in Canada now, and they have about 120 stores in the US.
Got it. So walk me through this as if I'm a kindergartner and I know absolutely nothing about how this process works. I'm interested in getting a line into Nordstrom's.
Okay.
Right? And so walk me through in terms of getting it into your showroom, how it goes to Nordstrom's,
Okay.
the entire process.
So basically, if we had worked a deal and we did our deals and negotiate all that, and I've attached myself to the brand,
Yep.
you're the designer.
What makes you attach yourself to the brand?
So basically, if I decide to sign you,
Okay.
then we do our contract together, and I'm representing the brand exclusively.
Okay.
So I kind of have the rights to the brand in the US and Canada.
Wow.
I call the shots.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it comes down to.
You no
present
longer are
the
the
price.
middleman. You are the person that.
I'm it.
Wow.
Cut them out. But there really is, there's no middleman because it's very next near to impossible for this brand to just have a connection with the buyer and get it in there. You gotta remember these brands are out of the US too. So I've signed a deal with you. I have the collection here. We presented it. You and I have worked together. We've added washes that I think are mixing. Washes are basically different colors in denim, for those that don't know. We've worked all the kinks out to where I'm like, this is what's going to work in the US, and we're going to launch this. Launch it means offering it to the market, which is Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, so on and so forth. Nordstrom comes in here. Hey, I have this new brand for you, NXP. This is, obviously when I've pulled them into and I've reached out to them, they obviously know that I think this is a void and we need this. So that part is already done.
Got it.
And then we kind of put together our assortment that we think is strong together and works in we pick the right stores to launch it in, whether it's the Nordstrom at Grove and maybe one in, selected states. There's certain stores that are like the testing stores.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, they're called top doors. Top doors there's about 30 or so top doors for Nordstrom that are their bragging rights stores.
Got it.
Seattle's is one, the Grove, so on and so forth. Those stores are kind of like the testing grounds for new brands. If it works there, then it's you're in.
So curious to know if is it exclusive to Nordstrom's, or can you take it anywhere else?
It was in the beginning. So generally, I like to kind of offer that as a hook or a sales pitch, if you will, in a sense. And Nordstrom is one of my favorite places as well. So we've opened up distribution now. We are selling to some other ones as well. And eventually a brand does have to go there. And as a rep like myself, you have to be smart about not selling the same stuff to everybody too. You know, it's like you want to make sure that the brand gets enough love and that the retailers get enough love, and you dice it up a little bit.
Right. Let's walk over here. You have some other pieces that I would love to see.
This is another one of my babies that I've had since day one. Started this brand in the US. It's called Love in Paris. A lot of people know this brand. It started with a lot, you may remember or not, if you remember the mustache tees.
Yes.
Kate Moss was our brand ambassador for 3 years. So this is the same brand.
Got it.
It's been around for a while. They are the epitome of pop culture. They are the masters of acquiring licenses. We have the Basquiat license we just finished.
Really?
Huge. We have the Banksy license now, which we're dropping into stores now. Wow. That's a lot of this stuff. Like these are all Banksy licensed art pieces. We have the Peanuts, like Peanuts license. This will be out in stores. Actually, you'll like some of this. I mean, it's a different take on Peanuts.
Wow.
Which is like you would wear this.
Look at this. Wow, are we getting this? Man.
This brand is very great at taking something like a Peanuts and making it very street and edgy and not juvenile, and and also taking art pieces, like for example this Banksy piece. Like if you saw this original art file, it looks nothing like this, but we've made it look more street and edgy by doing all over prints, which are, by the way, huge.
Wow. So how important is it to get a celebrity associated with the brand?
In my world, it's pretty important.
Okay.
Whether they don't have to be a brand owner, but it does give a lot of validation in the premium market. So, for example, with 11 Paris, we've had everybody from, I mean, you name it has been attached to the brand, from Kanye to Beyonce to Kate Moss to Wiz Khalifa to Kylie Jenner to Kendall Jenner to Kim Kardashian. All of them we have collaborated in some regards. Karl Lagerfeld, throughout the years of this brand. This brand is known for that. You don't have to have that to be successful. NXP, we don't have any of that, and the brand is working. So it just kind of depends on what, what avenue or what angle you take.
Got it. Let's walk over here a little bit. I got a question for you. Normally I would have asked this in the beginning, but I guess the first question would be, do you have any desire to start your own clothing line?
Very, very common question.
Okay.
No.
Wow. Why is that?
I don't want to be in a factory. I don't want to do quality control. I don't want to cut patterns. I just want to look at something completed and be like, yes or no. And that's what I'm good at. So I take me away from that.
Listen, so this is my last question, the final question. I've asked you a lot of questions. You've been amazing, by the way. So, a lot of times in life, we want to come up and meet people and ask them what their name is. And I feel like when we do that, we have this preconceived notion about who they are because we know what their name is, versus just spending some time, some quality time, getting a chance to know that person. Today, I got a chance to sit down with you, spend some time with you, and before I even asked you this question, I just wanted to know a little bit more about you. So the question is, Brand Equity Showroom. How does the name Brand Equity come about?
Brand equity comes about, brand equity means the best of the best, i.e. what we're about. So it's the best in what it is. And I thought of that name at a very young age, and I look back and think, God, that my brain was thinking that. It's kind of crazy because it's a very common question. But it really truly does mean, when you look it up, it means the best of the best. And that's really truly what we are.
Wow.
We are the best of the best, and they strive to find the best in the best. So the name is definitely a mirror image of who we are.
When this is all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be like?
I want my legacy to be that, you know what, I stayed true to who I am. I didn't cave because the market caved. I took the hits and I still stuck to what I believe in, finding new, fresh stuff. And I think I've done that, and I will continue to do it, whether I make 5 cents or 5 million.
Wow. Brand Stark.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dreamer Series.
Ah!